Hello, good morning. I want to say just a few words today about appreciating what we have. And I'm going to begin by quoting from some words of the Buddha. Well, it's a very slight paraphrase actually. I've just substituted the word Sangha for bhikkhus. Bhikkhus meaning monks, and Sangha meaning, in this context, meaning the community of practitioners. That is to say, us who are practicing Buddhism, you and I. So the Buddha said, the growth of the Sangha is to be expected, not its decline, so long as the Sangha assembles frequently and in large numbers. I'll just say that again. The growth of the Sangha is to be expected, not its decline, so long as the Sangha assembles frequently and in large numbers. So right now, of course, and in fact ever since March, however long ago that is, I've forgotten, 6 or 7 months, the Sangha has not been able to assemble frequently and in large numbers, at least not in a physical sense. We have assembled, and not always in large numbers, sometimes very small numbers, but sometimes quite large. Over the last months, through Zoom and YouTube, particularly Zoom, I've met with other members of the Sangha in numbers ranging from about 6 or 7 right up to several hundred. Some of the older online events that I've been at have had 100, 200, maybe 300 or more people attending them, which has been great. It's not been perhaps the same as assembling in the same physical space, but there is nevertheless a connection there. I definitely feel a strong connection with the Sangha when I see these large numbers, even though they're appearing in little boxes on my computer screen. And in fact, it enables people to meet from all different parts of the world who would not otherwise be able to meet in the same space. So some of those older events that I attended have involved people from India, the USA, New Zealand, all parts of Europe, and possibly other places that I'm not even aware of. So there's been this really good connection, or this interconnection between members of the Sangha. And I've been thinking about our own much smaller situation here in the Norwich Buddhist Centre, in the Sangha we have connected with that. The Norwich Buddhist Centre isn't just the building that we go to, or in fact it's much more than that. It's the Sangha of people who are connected with that building through their shared practice. And because of the lockdown restrictions, we're not able to meet in the centre, but we are able still to meet online. And maybe some people are getting fed up with meeting online. Maybe you see it a bit too much like TV or something like that, or something that you're a bit separate from, a bit alienated from. It's not interactive enough perhaps, which I can understand. But actually, for me, I'm finding that Zoom and YouTube, these resources that we have through the internet, are really invaluable. Imagine if we didn't have that. We'd not be able to meet physically, and we wouldn't be able to meet through the means of technology. That would be really difficult, I think. when I talk to people on Zoom, or now, for example, when I'm giving this talk to you via YouTube, I don't feel that I'm just talking to my screen. I don't feel that I'm just talking to my otherwise empty room. I feel that I'm making a connection. I'm trying to bring myself into connection with actual living people, members of the Sangha, whether I know you or not. And that's important to me because of what I said earlier, that quote from the Buddha about the growth of the Sangha is expected. We can expect that to continue, or at least to maintain a strong Sangha, if we meet together. And at the moment, the only way we can meet together is, well, I was going to say imaginatively, but it's not entirely imaginative because we do actually see pictures of each other. Nowadays, we all rely on phones. We have phone contact with people. We have maybe video calls through WhatsApp or whatever. We have these ways of meeting up through Skype. We all take those as though they're pretty real, don't we, I think? But yet maybe we're getting a bit tired of doing things on Zoom. So I'd like to make the case for refreshing our attitude to Zoom if it needs refreshing, our attitude to doing things online, and I'd like to suggest that we can maintain a very strong connection actually through doing things in this way. Maybe in the Norwich Sangha we've missed some opportunities. Maybe we haven't made the most of summer weather and organised some outdoor gatherings. And maybe as festival organiser, maybe I've not been on the case enough there. Maybe the weather's going to decline now, I don't know. Maybe, well, some of you I know have already had some meetings outside. But I think particularly at this time of lockdown and the restrictions we have, we really need to make sure that we don't isolate ourselves. I don't mean isolate ourselves because of the virus, but I mean isolate ourselves from potential contact with the Sangha because we don't want to do it through technology. For me, and perhaps for many other people, many more of you, in a way, the internet technology has been a bit of a lifeline. I would still have had some Sangha contact without it, but only very minimal. And it's very important to me. My connections with the Sangha have enabled me to maintain my practice of meditation, of Dharma, throughout the decades that I've been involved in Buddhism, which is I'm now in my 4th decade of practice. And it's the Sangha, really, who have sustained me through all that time. I couldn't have done it otherwise if I'd been meditating or studying the Dharma just by myself in isolation. I could not have continued to this day, I don't think. So I think, well, for myself, I do very much appreciate the fact that we can meet via technology, and I appreciate very much all of you who enable this to happen, and all of you who attend Sangha events at the Norwich Buddhist Centre. So sure, it's not as real as being in the same room as people, being able to give them a hug, being able to have private conversations with people. We can't do that at the moment like we do at the centre. But hey, I think this is a really great thing that we do have available. And I very much appreciate it. And I think we should make the most of it because at the moment it's pretty much all that we have. So, how can I finish up? Well, just encourage you to make the most of what we've got, to come to Zoom events. Doesn't take much effort, just a few clicks, and there we are, connected. These days we hear very much the expression click and collect. That's what we do with material things, isn't it? We click and collect. But in this instance, we just click and connect with each other, with the Sangha.